Welcome to Yakima Southwest Rotary, the most awesomest club in the world. If I could have Steve Altick come up for invocation.
Let's pray. Heavenly Father, we want to give thanks right now for the day you've given us, for each person here. We have so much to pray for in this world and country and city, but we just thank you, Lord, that we can meet, that you give us opportunities to serve our community here, and we just pray your lead and guide our leadership and as we enter a new year. Pray right now for this meeting and all that is said and done here. In Jesus' name, amen. Join me in the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Steve. Susan, you want to come up and do the introduction, I guess? You can use the mic and then stand over here.
Right here. Okay, welcome everybody. Josh Longston brought a guest today. Josh, you want to introduce him?
I do. Jonathan has been with us for a fair number of months now. He's our exchange student inbound from Sweden. So give him a round of applause. We haven't made many of the meetings because he's been on the football team, the basketball team, and now he's joining or trying out for the tennis team. But he was able to break away for a few minutes today to come join us. So if you'd like to chat with him after, he'll be with me for a few minutes after to say hi. Or if you'd like to grab a cup of coffee or dinner with him at some point in the next 4 months that he has left with us, please reach out to me or him while he's here. Thanks.
Thank you. And our other guest is a guest of Emily.
I would like to introduce you to Sarah J. You may remember her from our Rotary auction last summer, and if you hear her speak, you'll definitely recognize her voice. She is a social media consultant. You'll have to make her clap. Sarah is working for herself now as a media consultant, and her company is called Media by Sarah J.
Cool. Welcome. All right. Hopefully our next speaker can keep it together. With that being said, I'm going to have Elia Castillo come up. Tom, do you want to get your camera ready for this one?
I really did, Elia. I really did, Elia. I'm sorry.
There's absolutely no way that's the most recent.
That's the most recent photo that I found. Isn't she beautiful?
Yes.
So there he goes. Look, you like that one?
It's better, yes.
So I'm here to introduce my daughter as a new Rotarian. My sister has been a Rotarian for 25 years in Nicaragua. So the family of Rotarian is growing. Hopefully, Elia will be until you're in your 80s or 90s. Elia was born in Miami, lived there for 8 years. Then we moved back to Nicaragua when she was 8. Then she graduated as the salutatorian in high school in Nicaragua and was admitted in Notre Dame, where she graduated. She double majored in psychology and political science back in 2016. Yeah. I'm still paying for the student loans. And then she moved to Seattle. Hated us because we moved to Seattle and we have no family, no friends in Seattle at that time. But she worked as a paralegal for a few years, and about 3 years ago, she decided she wanted to go to law school, but she said no. After almost 3 years working as a paralegal, she said, no, that's not for me, and she moved to Yakima, where then the pandemic hit, and I said, Elia, why don't you work at the agency a few months, and then you decide what you want to do. But 3 years later, now she took over the agency as of March 1st. So, welcome to Southwest Rotary.
Thank you.
give her all.
Yeah.
Elia, we have a Rotary book with all the current Rotarians in it, and then this is like a welcome intro kit. And I'm sure your dad will do a great job in showing you all the ropes on getting on Club Runner and so forth. So welcome, Elia.
She's only 29. and she's the youngest of 2 daughters.
Oh, gosh.
Congratulations.
Oh, I'll do a little shout out. So Elia's also come back as the Dessert Dash sponsor. So her farmers agency has sponsored our Dessert Dash. So look for that announcement coming. So thank you. Birthdays for the month of March. Dave Lemon just celebrated here on the 1st. Mark Hummel on the 4th. So I want to wish those guys a happy birthday. Let's see. Women's Build is this week. If you haven't signed up, I think you could still probably sign up. You can see the QR codes in our bulletin that went out this week. I believe it's $25. You get a shirt. I know a few people are signed up on Friday. Is that right? So I don't know if we've got a number of people signed up on Friday, but we've got a few people signed up. So it's not too late to get signed up for that. We have a new member orientation. Many of you newer to the club in the last few years probably saw this email from Tammy. I think it just came out. And we've got hosted by Lynn and Kathy. I believe that's your home, correct, Lynn? On Wednesday, March 15th. And it's learning about different committees, so it's kind of a fireside new member orientation format. And then on April 14th, hosted by Lizzie and Tammy out in West Valley. So look for those. Email Tammy for RSVP on that. And then we've got the Dick Johnson Blood Drive is on March 24th. This was added to your bulletin this week. I will plan to be there this quarter. I think we can give blood anyway, we're doing it quarterly, but I think you can do it every 6 months, I believe, so twice a year. So hopefully we can get a good turnout for that. I think last time we had about 12 to 14 different signups from our club. So look for that. Get signed up if you can. Eat a big lunch day of. I didn't and practically fainted, so... all right, so these are going to go out in the mail. We'll shoot an email out here to the entire club, so you can get online. This was sent in the bulletin also, so we have the QR code. You can just go straight to the website also that was listed below in the bulletin to Southwest Rotary. Ooh, look at this techie here. Right there. southwestrotary.givesmart.com. So you can get registered there. You can buy a table there. If you want, many of you have said that you're buying a table. If you've done that, we've already got you counted. Taylor's probably done a great job, and he started sending you notifications so that you can get your people registered. So once you buy the table, now we got to fill the table and get the names and the numbers, etc. in there. So if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me, or you can reach out to Jason Kildall. We're going to send out information on the Dessert Dash as well. You can, if you don't do a silent auction item, you'll get billed $100. So if you do nothing, you'll get a $100 buyout. However, if you know somebody that's a great baker and can make a dessert, then that will meet your silent auction donation requirement, okay? And then I want to thank Brian McCown, his wife Jenny, and Aaron McCoy's wife Andrea McCoy are kind of help drumming up Dessert Dash as well items. We'll also be sending out information about silent auction. We'll get that email out here too. I'll probably do that when we send out the email for the invitation. But for those that are doing silent auction, Nicole, do you want to just wave your hand? Nicole Britt stepped up to the plate. She's doing the silent auction this year. Thank you, Nicole. She's already doing an awesome job. So a lot of heavy lifting. So thank you, Nicole. Hey, Nicole, would you just share just a really quick about some of the silent auction items that you've secured through your contacts, etc.? Just share real quick for a good example.
We have some glass cleaner that was given to us. We have a sketch of a business/house. I haven't seen it yet, so I don't.
I think that's Bob Knutson, right? That's Bob's. Yep.
So I haven't seen it, so I can't really elaborate on that.
Tell about the artwork through the artwork one. I know.
That actually is going to be sold as a live auction. Are you talking about Jenny?
Yep.
So Jenny is whatever. She's somebody has donated her Mountain Jen is what she's called. She does a painting, and you've all been in crafted. You've seen that large painting in crafted. She's donated an 18 by 20 of that for our
Auction.
club for the auction for that. I don't have a ton of silent auction items, which I'd love to.
That's fine. Those are just really good examples of people that she knew that she's reached out to, and she's donated an artwork piece. So if you know an artist, I messaged the owners of my CrossFit gym and asked if they'd be willing to do like 2 sessions and a free month membership. So reach out to your barber, reach out to your favorite car wash place, reach out to, any acquaintance you have through business or personally, and just see if they'd be willing to donate for the auction. So thanks, Nicole. District conference is in Leavenworth. It's May 19th through the 21st. I'll get a link and sign up in the bulletin for that. So if anybody would love to spend the weekend in Leavenworth, I'll be there. So we'd have a lot of fun together. All right. Let's see here. What else we got? Does anybody else have any club announcements for the greater good of the club? Go ahead, Angie. Yep, that's right.
We have secured March 30th and May 30th for the Camp Hope Rod's House dinners.
Okay.
We're working out maybe a little less.
March 30th and May 30th. Okay.
So we'll need probably 4 to 5 servers at Camp Hope for those nights, and I will do a sign-up sheet.
And are those Thursdays? What nights did those end up being?
A Tuesday and a Friday.
Tuesday and a Friday?
The May one is the Tuesday after Memorial Day, and the other one is the Friday.
Okay. March 30th, May 30th, serving at Camp Hope. March 30th, May 30th.
And then Mary Lynn brought to us Children's Village is doing like an extravaganza. We're not 100% sure of the date, but we're thinking April 1st. And they just need, I don't know the need yet, but they want us to help with children's crafts.
Volunteers to help run a station. Okay. Thank you. Oh, I will say that if you have an idea for service in our community that Rotarians could volunteer for, highway pickup, greenway pickup, Cowiche Conservancy. I think the Stay Alliance is probably going to be looking for trails to be dug. Hopefully we can get something going there. So as you think of organizations that have opportunities for our club where we could go serve, bring those to Angie. You could email myself so we can get some more opportunities to serve. Okay, with that, Emily Jameson, you want to come up and do your Sergeant of Arms?
Dirk, can you go back to that slide of the women's build with the QR code? Okay, who's excited about the raffle? Before we begin, if you haven't, there's a lot of feedback here. I'll stand here. If you have not yet signed up for the build and you were thinking about it, this QR code is here for you right now. Okay. Did you choose?
It is last 4, 5713.
5713. Do we have a winner?
Yes.
Is it you, Steve? It's Steve. What? Oh. Okay. Okay. 7 of hearts. Better luck next week. Okay. Happy bucks. Any happy bucks? Oh, yes.
I've got a happy 5 with a shameless plug. So we went to Deck State last week, had 4 kids score like high out of the 6 years, so that was awesome. My shameless plug is I have a boy that wears a size 12 dress shoe, and I had to walk to the main bower with him while he was doing this the whole time because his shoes were half a size too big. So if there are any, it was like a half mile. So if there are any guys who are cleaning their closet, size 12 men's.
I'll check.
And, and
Size-
if you're cleaning out your dress jackets, I could use some larger size men's coats too.
What's larger?
Like, John Lackey, the kid who wears the 12. So just,
38?
Craig, yeah,
38,
probably
40.
38, 40. He borrowed one and it was a little too small, it was a little snug.
Size 12 men's dress shoes, please, from the community. Size jacket 38, 40. Anything else? No? That'll do it. The girls are good?
The girls are good for right now, we'll see in the fall. But if you're cleaning out your closet professional clothes,
Great,
I
yes.
always make them.
Okay, so to conclude, clean out your closets, spring cleaning, everyone. Get your nice dress clothes and give them to Stephanie. Thank you. Okay. Anyone else? Thank you, Stephanie, for letting us know about that opportunity too. Okay, Gib.
All right, so I've got happy bucks, and I'm going to do shameless plug too. No, right? So first of all, the happy bucks. I got called by Dirk the other day, and he said, "Do you know anybody who would be comfortable talking on a microphone and be able to stand up in front of people?" And so I get to MC the auction.
Wow!
I'm thrilled with it.
Homegrown. Thank you.
And then my shameless plug, just in case anybody can get out, I'm playing music at Weenash Creek Saloon this Friday, and then I'm also playing at Kano Winery March 4th. So
Not March 4th.
May 4th?
yeah, May.
May 4th.
April 7th.
April 7th. Okay. Let's just clear up any confusion. First of all, Weenass Creek Saloon when?
Weenash Creek Saloon this Friday.
Friday,
Right, and then April 7th.
April 7th at Kano Winery. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Tammy?
I have 2 happy bucks. I'm pretty sure that Emily, your Rotary anniversary, and mine were on March 5th. So happy 5th anniversary, Emily.
Happy 5th anniversary, Tammy.
I was going to do that next week.
Any other happy bucks? Shameless plugs. Any more shameless plugs? Wow. Okay. Shocking. All right. Moving on. If you signed up for the women's build, will you please raise your hand? Oh. You signed up though? Are you serious? Thank you, Nicole. Nicole, let's clap for Nicole. Thank you for representing our club. So, Nicole, you seem to be exempt today from paying anything. That's why we put this up here. I was trying to give you a little nudge if you were planning to. Elia, are you going to sign up for the build? Okay, on the honor code of Rotarians, you may also be exempt from paying anything today. Now, if you happen to be a woman, you may pay $1. And If you do not have the privilege and the honor of being a woman in the world today, you may pay $2 or more. However much you want to pay today is up to you. Thank you, everybody. And you may pay $1.
Thank you. Hey, Dave. You don't have to eat the mic. Yeah, I know. I still want you to talk in the mic because of video. Yeah. All right. So with that, I'm gonna have. I'll give it a second, Dave. We'll get them to quiet down. People are excited. All right. Thank you, Emily. Next up, I'm going to have Dave Rankin. Dave's going to come up and introduce our speaker, Frank Pritchard.
Thank you, President Dirk. We are fortunate today to have with us Frank Pritchard. Frank is the son of Joel Pritchard, one of the co-founders of the game of pickleball. Frank will share the story of how pickleball started back in 1965. It is amazing that the sport has grown into a national pastime now governed by an international federation and has the possibility of the game becoming an Olympic sport someday. Amazing. In March of 2022, Jay Inslee signed into law naming pickleball as the official game of Washington State. A little background on our speaker. Frank is the son of Seattle Congressman and Lieutenant Governor Joel Pritchard. Frank is a graduate of the University of Puget Sound. Go Loggers. Frank is an Army veteran. He's a former banker, and most recently he retired from Nordstrom. Frank is married to Yakima downtown Rotarian Teresa Pritchard, and Frank and Teresa have lived in the Yakima Valley since 2006. So please join me in a warm Southwest Rotary welcome for Frank Pritchard. Oh, here we go.
Oh.
We'll run the video.
Run the video and then I'll talk. You need this or I'll hold it.
And tonight, a piece of Northwest history that's exploded into a worldwide phenomenon.
It really has. It's amazing what's happened. It's so fun to look back at a moment of true invention and inspiration. And tonight, three guys who put their heads together 57 years ago are my heroes. The summer of '65 was warmer than most, and a ferry ride away from the Emerald City on lush and idyllic Bainbridge Island, lucky families like the Pritchards came to homes like this one to vacation on the water and enjoy good living.
I'm announcing officially today
Joel Pritchard was a congressman from the state of Washington, a man of ideas. He was a tad absent-minded with an eye for good fun. His oldest son, Frank, who now lives in Yakima, turned 13 years old that year, and he did not want to be on Bainbridge Island.
I didn't want to go over there. All my friends, my school friends, were in Seattle. And we would move there all for the entire summer.
Joel Pritchard's good friend was Bill Bell. Bill's son, Joel Bell, was just a toddler that summer.
There would be Olympics for the kids. There would be sort of, a lot of fort building, driftwood on the beach.
It was a golden time. There were card games and boats, cocktails and walks on the beach, and a batch of bored kids looking for something to do.
It was a beautiful day. I'm standing on the steps, and I turned to him and I said, I hate it here. There's nothing to do. And he said, when we were kids here, we used to make games up. And I said, oh, really? Why don't you go make a game up then? You know, in my most polite way.
Why don't you make up a game then? It was a flippant remark, but Joel Pritchard took it as a challenge. There was a patch of asphalt on the property being used as a badminton court. Somewhere laying around was a ball. Somewhere inside the mind of Joel Pritchard was inspired genius.
The ball was a wiffle ball, and it was just lying there on the lawn. And my dad he said, okay. And he picked that ball up, and he marched up. My grandfather had kind of a tool shed workshop thing in the back of the property, and he went up there, and I didn't know what he was doing.
Bill Bell got involved. Rules were conjured from thin air. They lowered the badminton net. Joel Pritchard cobbled together crude paddles.
So a little while later, I walked up to the badminton court, and here's Bill Bell and my dad, and they're hitting this ball around, and they're talking. And then I remember my father said, you know who we need? We need Barney.
Barney McCallum lived a few houses down in this home. He refined the rules and greatly improved the paddles.
And I just went in and got a piece of 3/8 plywood and cut paddles. I did that on the bandsaw. And this is probably an example of the ugliest paddle that was ever built.
Barney would become the first evangelist for the game. The three men, Pritchard, McCallum, and Bell, seen here years later, created a game that day. They also created a legend. That's Joel Pritchard in white playing his game. It became their own little pastime, the three families on Bainbridge. Barney McCallum built a court on his property. It's still there today. There was always a game going on. That's little Joel Bell and his big brother Bill and Bill Bell Sr. There's Frank Pritchard teamed up with his dad, who couldn't be bothered to find matching shoes and socks that day. And that's Joanne Pritchard on the right, Joel's wife. Joanne loved crew racing. The University of Washington crew team had an A boat and a B boat, and the leftovers rode in what was known as the pickle boat.
And her thinking was, well, you know, this is sort of part of this game and part of that game. We're just throwing everything together, so it's sort of pickleball.
And so this made-up, ad-libbed, one-off lark of a game had a name, Pickleball. 3 years later, the Pritchards got a dog and named it Pickles. The dog was named after the game, not the other way around. Scott and Carol Stover started coming around on Bainbridge in '67. That's Carol there and Scott playing pickleball.
Well, I think it was an innocent spirit. People were just playing games. It wasn't with any intent that this is going to be the biggest, hottest thing in the world.
When Barney McCallum started marketing the game in the '70s, they were featured on the original box. The Stovers are now the owners of that first court, and they have kept it intact.
I love the fact that it's the original and it hasn't been redone. It needs some help, but then it wouldn't be the original court anymore. So we've kept it as is.
The original court is important because something incredible has happened. In the last few years, pickleball has exploded like a supernova. It's a smash hit full of smash hits. There are leagues everywhere, 5 million players in the U.S. alone. It is the fastest growing sport in America. How big is it? This big.
A Washington State congressman and a friend invented this tennis-like sport in 1965 to entertain their bored families. Josh.
It's pickleball.
Very popular, that's it.
People like Frank Ciccone say it's changed their lives.
Out. I wake up in the morning and think, where am I going to play pickleball today? And if I'm not playing pickleball, I'm thinking about pickleball, or I'm organizing pickleball, or whatever. It has consumed my life, and I'm so thrilled for it.
And people like James Owen continue adding to the rules of the game.
First rule, have fun. Second rule, if any rule conflicts with rule number 1, it's not a rule.
And so not long ago, Governor Jay Inslee showed up on Bainbridge Island at that original court.
London can have Wimbledon. Rome can have the Colosseum. We have the epicenter of the sporting world today at the pickleball court, where it all started in Bainbridge Island.
He made a proclamation.
And we are here to make the state sport of the state of Washington pickleball at long last. What a great day.
All because of a happy accident, because of bored kids and cool dads and a spirit of adventure.
When you think about it, when you think about a kid.
I'm so proud
I'll tell you, my father would be so thrilled that this thing has given so much pleasure to so many people. It has impacted people's lives in a good way.
Monotony is the mother of invention. In the summer of '65 on Bainbridge Island, when the Pritchards, the Bells, and the McCallums enjoyed good living and made up a game that might just last forever.
Eric, the things a parent will do to quiet a child who keeps chirping that they're bored.
A whiny kid, right?
It's incredible.
I should point out, you can't patent the rules of the game.
Oh.
So the kids of the three founders have not gotten rich because of pickleball, but they are very...
I just stand here and does this work? Yeah. First of all, let me tell you that my father was a Rotarian, as was his father and my wife and my Uncle Frank. So there you go. You're in good company. This is one of the paddles that Jay signed. And, I suggested maybe it could be in the Rotary auction at the other club, and no one took me up on it. I couldn't believe it. This is what I remember playing with. And actually, somebody cut off the thing, but this is what I knew. So this is all foreign. Let me take out some notes here. One of the reasons I like to do this is because my mother came up with a name for this game, and I cannot tell you how much grief I've gotten from people saying, "Oh, it was named for that dog." And it's a minor thing, but she never got credit. So this is my little goal in life, to give my mother credit for coming up with that stupid name, which I didn't like at the time, but that's okay. I have to say too that, for me to try and kind of get my head around what this has become is really difficult. And my wife and I were in the desert, this fall, and there was this large tournament at Indian Wells. And, we went, and I'm walking around, there's this huge venue, there's people everywhere. And, this is what I remember. They're all so serious, and geez, But I didn't tell them who it was. But, it is almost, well, at least every other week, someone wants to talk to me, wants to contact me about this game. Articles written, books have been written. I've gotten 2 children's books, for crying out loud, and they weren't very good. I did get somebody wanted to write about pickleball, and it's a book that's called Pickleball is Everything. So if you want a really good book, my recommendation, I don't get anything out of this, but this woman wrote a really good book, and I read it, and I learned a lot. Do I play pickleball? I have a bad back. All right. Anyway, but, I guess the thing that is interesting to have been there at the conception of this game is now we just thought it was this goofy game we had, and it was. Yeah, well, so what? Anyway, I do want to say that, Barney McCallum was featured in that, who is truly one of the great characters that I have ever known in my life. A brilliant guy, funnier than you can imagine. You got a little flavor of that. But he really is the one who deserves a lot of credit for making this game what it is today, because he ran that pickleball company out of he had an envelope company in Seattle, but he ran this pickleball thing, put the kits together, And he had a guy go out and go to trade shows and to schools. And, I think a lot of people, the first time they played was, it was gym class in school. Well, that sort of planted those seeds. And Barney deserves a lot of credit for my dad was kind of the father of pickleball, but Barney was kind of the responsible parent, is the way I like to look at it. So, my father was kind of like a camp counselor at heart, and he had been a camp counselor, as a matter of fact. And he always wanted people to get up and do, get up and play games and do all this stuff, which just worked my last good nerve. But, bless his heart. And truly, he would be walking around with his mouth hanging open over what this game has become. And the thing was, it was always fun. It was always friendly. And I think if we can keep that going today, maybe we can bridge some divides. Things are a little divided. And, get people to play a game. Maybe it'll bridge that. I don't know. So let's hope so. I don't know if you have any questions. That's about all I got. I don't know if you have anything burning you. Yes.
Is this court? I mean, can you visit this court?
Sure. It's actually, it was my grandparents' property, and yeah. Tell them Frank Pritchard said it was okay. Just drive down there. It's okay.
Whereabouts on the island?
Pleasant Beach.
Okay.
Yeah. And it's right where the road splits. Just go down there. Yeah, tell them I said so.
Did you ever have a phase where you did like pickleball?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we love playing it. But, I turned 16. I got a driver's license. Gee, do I want to play pickleball? Do I want to drive around? Smoke cigarettes, look at girls. I'll let you think about that one. So, yeah. Yeah. What? Yeah.
So I played pickleball today at the walk, and it's still a friendly game.
Good.
People get together, they have fun, they don't take it too seriously because the games are pretty short.
Right.
11 points. And every time you play with a different partner, like every game, if you go. And it's like, because you lose a game, and then 5 minutes later you're playing a new game with 3 other people. So it really has turned out to be
I saw.
lighthearted, and I mean, I guess that the professionals, they're pretty serious about it.
Well, they'll have to get over that. I saw a thing where they were introducing it into prisons, and these guys are playing this, and it's like they're bridging that gap too. It is something that gets a lot of stuff out of their system, but also it's friendly and fun. And I just thought, wow, if they could do it in prison, they could do it anywhere. Yes.
I know a lot of people that play this, and they're old like me,
And me.
So I'm thinking that when they put it in the Olympics,
Yeah.
there should be a minimum age requirement.
I want to be the one bringing the torch in. What do you think?
I played with Swole quite a bit, and she told me, well, this is when I started. I just started about 6 months ago. And she said, I said, well, how long have you been playing? She said, I've been playing 12 years.
Yeah.
I thought, wow. And she says, and I'm now 83.
Yeah.
And I mean, she's still pretty good.
Right.
It's like, it's a game you really can play as a senior.
Yeah.
And have a great time. I mean, tennis, by that time, you're kind of...
Right, yeah.
Pickleball's not as much work.
My wife and I...
I was really impressed that she was 83 and still
playing.
3-4 times a week.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
My wife and I were on a trip, and we ran into this guy named Harold. He was 93.
Wow.
He was from St. Louis, and he said it saved his life because he is not only out doing something physical, but he is interacting with people not, it isn't all the same people. These are younger people. And he said, it's just the social aspect of it is what is so important to him. And he was just a great guy. So, yeah.
Are the rules the same now than when?
There have been some tweaks. And I'm not aware of them. I learned that there's an indoor ball and an outdoor ball. That's a new one. I didn't. There are some. The scoring is different than when I'd like to know who came up with it, but I'd like to strangle them because I think it's kind of more complicated than it needs to be.
How did you guys score when you started out?
We just scored. Yeah, and you'd call out the score. So if you won the point, you were 1-0. You call your side first, and then if they get the serve, then it's 0-1. Seemed kind of straightforward to me, but I know most people have said it's the one thing that's like.
The first time I played pickleball was in 1970. I played the pickleball court next to the tennis courts at Hell's Resort on Priest Lake in Northern Idaho.
I'll be darned. All right, well you get a prize then first.
Who gets all the prizes?
Yeah.
With the dog, Pickles, I heard an urban legend that you used to yell, "Pickles, ball," and the dog would fetch the ball. Any truth to that?
No.
No.
Okay, I'm gonna tell you the deal. Yeah, it is. This got perpetuated actually by my father, and Barney and Bill Bell. They were getting their first kind of national exposure by, I don't know if it was, I think it may have been the New York Times. And the reporter said, you know what, that dog story is really cute. You should just tell that story because the real story of how it's named is kind of goofy and complicated and hard to tell. The dog, oh yeah, chasing Pickles' ball. Cute. Wrong. Yeah, we got the dog 3 years later, and, if we'd known then, what we know now. Anyway, so for my sainted mother, no. Anyway. Yeah.
Actually, I have a quick shameless plug because coming up the auction at the end of April, you will have the opportunity to bid on a beautiful home on Bainbridge Island. 4 nights, and I will include as part of the package the address for this.
I'll get you that address. Yeah.
You don't have one yet. One of the things that would be better is if he actually let them play pickleball on the court.
Well, there you go. That would be amazing.
The fact I'm not the owner, I don't care. You go ahead and play. Tell him to go ahead and play. Yeah. When the cops come, that's your problem. Yeah. So, anyway, it's thanks for letting me, flap my lips a little bit about it. It's a remarkable thing, and you can imagine it's mind-boggling to me. But I got to tell you, this club's a lot more fun than that downtown one. And I didn't say that. You didn't hear it. Anyway, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Frank.
You're welcome. Thank you.
No. Frank is being part of the most awesomest club in the world. We have a awesomest club water bottle for you, so thank you for being our, yeah, you don't get those at downtown.
I didn't get anything from the other club.
That was great. I'll put the link to the story in the bulletin so you can share that. Also, in the link to our bulletin is the video feed. So you can go back and watch this video or share this video. Maybe not with downtown Rotarians, but you can share this or share at least that news link. It's pretty awesome. Great story. Thank you, Frank. So with that, I want to thank Susan and Brian for being our greeters, Steve for doing invocation, Emily for your spur of the moment, Sergeant at Arms, and then Frank for our speaker. Thank you. Our meeting is adjourned.